Welcome back, YouTube, to another Expedition Agartha guide video. In this video, we'll be covering food and your best food options. Now, first things first, if you're not familiar with the food system, you can eat food which will give you various buffs along with healing your health and hunger. Different foods will buff either your health or your stamina. Better tier foods will obviously provide a larger buff, and even your highest tier foods can actually buff both. So regardless of what food you've got, whether you're in combat or about to be in combat, you need to have eaten something. So starting off, you'll have your more basic recipes, think dried meat or cooked versions of meat and vegetables. That'll be what you're more than likely using when you start out, which is pretty poor in terms of buff, but you don't really have much of an option either way. In case you don't know, you can cook your raw food for a bit of a boost in its healing or buff properties. For example, consuming a raw boar heals for +1 health per second and a plus 0.05 food per second for 100 seconds, compared to if you were to consume cooked boar, you're looking at +5 health per second, plus 0.3 food per second for 100 seconds, and plus 200 max health for 300 seconds. And all you had to do to get that buff is just literally cook it on a stove. You don't need any additional materials. So it's pretty easy to see if you're getting into combat, having that plus 200 max health buff is pretty helpful. Cooking itself really isn't hard. You just head to the cooking station just down from the bar and throw in whatever you want to cook, and voila, cooked food. Now, after you've got a couple extractions under your belt, you're going to want to start aiming to upgrade your cooking station to level 2, because that's when your meal options become a lot better. All you need is 5 wood planks, 9 nails, 5 cloth rags, 3 cooking oil, 3 garlic, and 1,000 gold, which may seem like a lot, but can be easily found while playing the first map. And honestly, if you're lucky, you can probably get all of that in maybe 2 extractions. Once you're able to upgrade, you gain access to the following recipes: baked fish with tomato sauce, grilled boar and rice, and rich tomato soup. Cooking meals, like I just mentioned, is like a step above cooking your raw foods to cooked food. The only problem is that they require a fair amount of ingredients to cook just one meal. 1 raw boar, 1 salt, 1 herb, 2 onions, 2 mushrooms, 2 rice, and 1 animal fat. Now, I know that may sound like a lot, but it's pretty easy to gather a lot of the ingredients above from expeditions, and most importantly, cooking one of these actually yields 2 meals. Some of these items thankfully can be bought directly from Quahu, who is behind the bar. As you level him up by doing quests, you'll gain access to more and more ingredients you can actually buy, which will save you the hassle of having to find them on the island. Other than that, though, I recommend picking up a food bin which will hold food and ingredients, and just doing a couple island runs and looting every single food ingredient you find. Now that we've talked about how to cook food and how to upgrade your workbench, let's talk more about the food you should be cooking now that we know what's required to craft tier 2 meals. I recommend cooking both the baked fish and the grilled boar. This is because the fish gives you a plus 250 max stamina for 10 minutes, and the boar gives you plus 250 health for 10 minutes as well. These buffs can be applied at the same time, so you'll be able to run around with massive stamina and health buffs for 10 minutes. The other thing about eating that I haven't talked about yet is fullness. The 2 meals I just spoke about both give you plus 40 fullness, which if you go over 100 fullness, you'll get a massive stamina debuff, which we obviously don't want. This prevents people from endlessly stacking food buffs, but thankfully still allows us to eat 1 of each, the baked fish and the grilled boar, without going over your fullness. So just be careful not to eat too much, or you're pretty much screwed. I'll drop a link to the food wiki down below, because it has exactly what you need to cook certain foods, which will hopefully be helpful. And as always, I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please do not forget to like and subscribe, because I've got a lot more Expedition Agartha content coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, YouTube.